We're live. Welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. I'm your host, Willie Bragg. And before we get started, let me just say to go ahead and and hit that like button because it helps with the algorithms. So do that. Subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting that subscribe button, hitting the notification bell. That's a wonderful thing to do. You can do it. So I appreciate it very much and appreciate all the people who have subscribed to my channel so far. You can follow me on Twitch as well. And feel free to Facebook request me. All the information will be down on my everywhere you look. And follow me on Twitter. So anyway, how are y'all doing today? I guess I'm doing fine, except for this. It's kind of funny politically all my life. I gone around, looking at Republicans thinking, well, gee, they're just the scum of the earth politically. To kind of paraphrase Brianna Joy Gray when she was intellectually beating the shit out of Bosch Limbaugh the other day, last week. She said, not ordinary Republicans, but elected Republicans is who she has the issue with. And when saying so, that's the issue. They're always the problem. I mean, I'm not going to say they're not the problem, but then, it's like the Democrats have been the problem too. And, a third party or as Kyle Kalinske and Cenk Uygur were trying to do almost a decade ago, a hostile takeover of the Democratic Party with the Justice Democrats, which I'm going to tell you that's a failure. That project is a failure, in my opinion. But they tried. At this point, it's gotten to be we're kind of angry, and now at the squad, justifiably, because they let us down. They have let us down all this time. So it is easy to be mad at our supposed to be our progressive allies at Congress. I mean, they fucked us over with forced to vote, not doing forced to vote, and voting for the Ukraine war funding and being scabs with the railway workers, basically fucking us over and all that. So, it's kind of easy to just, and when, we have allies and friends who are activists that goes and like to yell at AOC and, and all that. And that's really base because, she deserves to be yelled at. And other members of Congress, deserves to be, everybody in Congress deserves to be yelled at. Every damn one of them. Every damn one of them deserves to be yelled at. So anyway, let's go back to denouncing Republicans for a minute, because really, when it comes right down to it, it's just kind of like, well, certain things are just not necessary, and certain things are a waste of time. And I'm going to talk about a House resolution that took place that unfortunately passed yesterday, a thought crime, if you will, that took place. Basically, the U.S. House of Representatives made socialism a semi-thought crime. It's not anything that you will be prosecuted or arrested for yet, but they basically, it was a bipartisan bill that basically denounced socialism. And I'm going to go and I'll read you this from the Hill, and then I'll play you the video about the sponsor and give you my takes on all this. The House Thursday. Okay, let's start with the title. The House passes a resolution denouncing socialism. Vote splits Democrats by Mike Schnell, February 2nd, 2023. And this is from the Hill, of course. And it says the House on Thursday approved a resolution denouncing socialism in a bipartisan vote that fractured the Democratic caucus. The resolution overwhelmingly cleared the chamber, 328 to 886-14. The majority of the Democrats, 109 of them, voted with all Republicans for the resolutions, while 86 voted against it. 14 voted present. Let's see here. The measure, which runs 3 pages, says socialist ideology necessitates a concentration of power that has time and time again collapsed into communist regime, totalitarian rules, and brutal dictatorships. Quote, unquote. It argues that, quote, many of the greatest crimes in history were committed by socialist ideologies. Mentioning Vladimir Lenin, Joseph Stalin, Mao Zedong, Fidel Castro, Pol Pot, Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un, Daniel Ortega, Hugo Chavez, and Nicolas Maduro. Lists these atrocities committed under the socialist regimes. As the Congress denounces socialism in all its forms and opposes its implementations of socialist policies in the United States, the resolution reads, let's see, I'm scrolling down. When introducing the measure, the office of Representative María Elvira Salazar, a sponsor of the resolution, said, passing, it will make a bold statement that the People's House unequivocally denounces this cruel and unjust ideology. Quote, it would also ensure that the United States commits to never begin to or normalize the implementation of socialist policies that inevitably lead to economic ruin and political authoritarianism. Sounds like capitalism to me. Salazar's office added in a statement. Several Democrats who voted against the resolutions and expressed concerns reading the future of Social Security and Medicare. They noted Republicans on the Rules Committee rejected an amendment by Representative Mark Takano, Democrat of California, which sought to clarify that opposition to the implementation of socialist policy in the U.S. does not include federal programs like Medicare and Social Security. Republicans are pushing for spending cuts to be linked to debt ceiling increase and some floated cuts to entitlement programs. Speaker Kevin McCarthy, Republican of California, however, has said cuts to the 2 federal programs are off the table, quote unquote. Yeah, right. Here's what this is really all about. More and more members on the other side of the aisle are calling for cuts to Social Security and Medicare, and many have referred to the programs as socialism throughout their existence. Representative Mark Pocan, Democrat, Wisconsin, said on the House floor during the debate the other night on the Rules Committee, they show their cards. Republicans refuse an amendment to declare that Social Security and Medicare is not socialism. Oh, they all think government doing stuff is socialism. Let's see. This resolution is little about intelligent discourse and everything to do about laying a groundwork to cut Social Security and Medicare, he added. And I'm going to tell you much more than that, much more viciously. Additionally, some Democrats who voted against the measures have been described as Democratic socialists. Representative Rashida Tlaib, Democrat, Michigan. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat, New York. Cori Bush, Democrat Missouri, were all endorsed by Democratic Socialists of America in the 2022 cycle. Woo. Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Democrat Florida, who supported the resolution, condemned socialist autocrats during a speech on the House floor before taking aim at U.S. leaders to attack democratic elections and other American programs. The fact that she voted for it as one of the Democrats tells you how fucking wrong this resolution is. I rise to condemn all socialist autocrats who place powers and wealth over their own citizens. Yet the resolution ignores some of the worst evils, then fell silent while American leaders. What happened here? Oh, good Lord. The screen bouncing. I'm so sorry. I hate it when the screen does that. Oh, gosh. I hate it when the screen does that. Oh, good Lord. Where was I? Bum. Damn. Okay. I rise to condemn all socialist powers who place powers and wealth over their own citizens. Yet this resolution ignores some of the worst evils, then falls silent while American leaders mimic the cruel tactics, she says. Let's see. Let's condemn socialist abuses. Yes, but leaders on the floor seek to overturn democratic elections, compensates long held and gut programs of our family, veterans, and services members, said she added. Representative Teresa Leger Fernandez, Democrat New Mexico, who voted for the president, denounced socialism on the House floors, but criticized the House Republicans for spending time on the resolution and not on other matters. I absolutely denounce the brutal communist regimes of Castro, Maduro, Stalin, and other dictators in the whereas clause of this resolution. But sadly, instead of spending our precious moments in the people's house, expanding opportunity to hardworking Americans, supporting ranchers, farmers, and rural communities, lowering healthcare costs, the usual talking points, and strengthening Social Security and Medicare. We're spending hours, actually days, to impure political theater. She says, I think that's pretty much it for that article there. So it is political theater, just like she said. It is political theater. Absolutely, it is. And I just think is a waste of time. And it is basically criminalizing thought. Oh, liberals, leftists, they're woke. They're just trying to control your thoughts. This is an example of right-wing thought police right there. Right-wing cancel culture. We denounce socialism. Well, let's go to the video, very quick video of this Karen that sponsored the bill. Her name is María Elvira Salazar of Florida. There we go. And I will interrupt occasionally to correct her.
The gentlewoman is recognized. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I rise in support of the rule to bring up to the House concurrent resolution number 9, denouncing the horrors of socialism.
Socialism is not horrible. It's very based.
And why am I bringing this resolution to the floor of the United States House?
Yeah, why the fuck are you bringing it into the floor? This is a precious waste of time and money when there are other matters you could be concerned about. It's all tied into the greater culture war. That's what it is.
Representatives, because young people in America are being brainwashed by the news media and academia into the
brainwash. You want to talk about brainwash? You want to talk about what passed for news in this country? Fox News, One American News Network, the shit livery of MSNBC and CNN. Even so-called hipster gatekeepers like TYT. That's total bullshit. But you're gonna say that socialism is all around brainwashing people. Lady, you're stupid.
Believing that socialism is an economic model for the greater good of all Americans.
Well, it is.
And the problem is that they're falling for it. They're believing it. And here's the proof.
Yeah, please tell me the proof.
Almost 40% of Gen Z and millennials think the Communist Manifesto, written by Karl Marx, the father of Marxism, is a better defense of freedom and equality than the Declaration of Independence.
I say that there are valid points in the Communist Manifesto. I'm not a Marxist, practicing Marxist. I'm not even a communist. And there's a difference between socialism and communism. I'm not out there to denounce the communist part. I don't even have a problem with people who are capitalists per se. I'm a socialist. However, the Communist Manifesto's got some valid things in there. So does the U.S. Constitution. So does the Declaration of Independence. It's not all invalid, okay? One is not doesn't have to be exclusive from the other.
Written by Thomas Jefferson, one of the creators of the American experiment, the American exceptionality, and the document which gave birth to the most prosperous and resilient democracy in the history of the world, ours, the United States of America.
Oh, their country's way more prosperous than us. And there's a lot of socialism that made countries more prosperous than us, lady.
Worse yet, in a recent poll that shows that 40% of Americans of all ages, not only the youth, 40% believe that socialism is good.
Yes, and I've been one of them pretty much for the past 30 years. I was a socialist before socialism was cool. What do you think of that?
While 33% of them say that they are likely to support a member of the Democratic Socialists of America, the organization that has shaped the ideology of many of our colleagues with the poison of neo-Marxism.
Neo-Marxism? What the fuck is neo-Marxism? Democratic Socialists of America they're not even all that socialist at this point when you got people like AOC and Cori Bush and other members of the squad going around and basically scabbing at the rail workers, basically fucking over the rail workers. Something that you would be in favor of.
If you go to their website, to the Democratic Socialists of America website, you will read their neo-Marxist positions with pride.
Listen, lady, I am a loud socialist, and I say it with fucking pride.
I represent District Number 27 in the city of Miami, or in Florida, the city of Miami, a bastion of hundreds of thousands of Cubans, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans who have fled, who have escaped from the despicable horrors that you cannot imagine produced by that ideology.
Okay, I'm going to give you an education. I know you're Cuban American, but I'm going to give you an education since you're so fucking absorbed into your own stupidity that I'm going to tell you about these countries. Nicaragua is not a communist country. It's a social democracy. The Sandinistas, the FSLN government, they're a member of the Socialist International, the Worldwide Federation of Labor, Social Democratic, and Labor Socialist, the Worldwide Federation of Labor, Social Democratic, and Labor parties. They are center left, lady. Cuba, yeah, they're communists, but you know why they're communists? Because of the United States government propping up the Batista's regime, which was corrupt. And it was doing shitty things to the people of Cuba. But you know what? Maybe Cuba's not 100% perfect in every way. But there's one thing that they did. There's some things, great things they have done in spite of what the United States have done with this immoral blockade and embargo. They have managed to provide medical care free for everybody. Education free for everybody. Housing free for everybody. A job for everybody. If you think that's horrible, you know, you're the one with the problem, lady. Now, Venezuela is not quite a social democracy, and it's not quite a quote-unquote communist state. In fact, Venezuela has a capitalist economy. They nationalized the oil companies. It needed to be nationalized. The problem in Venezuela is not the socialist government of Hugo Chavez then and the current government of Nicolas Maduro. The problem with Venezuela is the United States bullying Venezuela, causing the misery like they did with Cuba. But Cuba was able to go and stand on its two legs against what the United States was doing. Again, I don't agree with 100% of what they do in Cuba, but I understand what is being done against them by the United States. And I think it's wrong what the United States have done. I compare that to what Cuba would do when other countries are in distress around the world. The United States like to send armies around the world to bomb and drone and colonize and take over. Cuba likes to go send an army of doctors, nurses, medical workers. Lady, you got your priorities messed up.
So why did the Venezuelans flee? Well, because Venezuela, why would they do that? If Venezuela has almost 20% of the world's oil. In other words, that means the largest reserves of oil in the world. The Venezuelans have more oil than the Saudis in Saudi Arabia.
And you know what? The United States has no business buying oil from Saudi Arabia because they're the ones, they're not even a socialist country, lady. They're a capitalist country. They're committing a fucking genocide. They're killing more people in Yemen. They're killing more people in Yemen. Cuba, if they're doing any quote unquote repressive shit today, it is very small potatoes in comparison. Very small potatoes in comparison. Practically nothing in comparison to Saudi Arabia. If you leave the religion of Catholicism, which is what most people are in Cuba, or whatever other religion, you're not going to get killed. You leave the religion of Islam in Saudi Arabia, you get the death penalty. In Cuba, they just legalized, I believe they just legalized same-sex marriage. And they're pretty cool with LGBTQ. In Saudi Arabia, they will kill you for that. So, women have been able to drive cars and they have freedom, equality in Cuba. They don't have that in Saudi Arabia. Lady, and I'm sure you were probably so glad when your Lord and Savior, Donald Trump, was going around selling those arms to Saudi Arabia, where the weapons were being used to go and used to exterminate people in Yemen. And this is not just Donald Trump. Fuck all the other presidents, Democrat, Republican, or whites, who are doing the same thing too.
In the 50s and the 60s, they had the same GDP as Germany.
Aha! And you're the kind of Karen that will look at the country of West Germany, not East Germany, but you'll look at even capitalist West Germany and Germany today with their social democracy and call that evil. You need to know what socialism is. You need to know what socialism is. I'm not saying that social democracies in Western Europe are socialism, but it took a whole lot of socialism to make those countries better to live in than the United States.
Now, inflation is 156% a year, the third largest in the world.
Caused by the United States bullying. And I remember it was that worthless piece of shit, John Bolton, the man who was an architect of the Iraq War that killed over 1 million people. That was kind of the architect of that policy under Donald Trump several years ago.
The average Venezuelan has lost 15 pounds for lack of food. In the last 20 years, over 7 million Venezuelans have escaped the democratic socialist paradise anywhere they could go. And
this shit started in 2004 when the George W. Bush administration started basically trying to topple the governments over there, because this is what the United States like to do. When there's a government that they don't like, they go and make trouble for it. Look at Chile. They toppled Salvador Allende in 1973. And look what they did to Jamaica under Prime Minister Michael Manley. They caused him, they weren't able to depose him, but they sure as hell caused him a lot of problems. They even killed the Prime Minister of New Zealand for protesting against nuclear weapons testing in the South Pacific. Norman Kirk in 1974. Well, the rumor goes anyway. He was poisoned, supposedly by the CIA.
That is more people that have fled the violence in Syria. So that indicates...
Yeah, Syria. And y'all want to go and get rid of Assad and have Al Qaeda take over the damn country, which is going to go make things 100 times worse. Lady, you're just selling your bill of goods of stupidity to the public with this speech.
Got a civil war. Another country who has lost everything is Nicaragua. In the 70s was the breadbaskets of Central America.
It was a dictatorship in the 1970s under Somoza.
And the Sandinistas arrived. Daniel Ortega took power under the guidance of Fidel Castro in Cuba.
And he provided free medical care, redistributed land, and provided education for the people.
He expropriated almost 30,000 properties in a few years. Right now, their citizens are poorer than they were in 1977.
No, they weren't.
But Ortega promised democratic socialism, but delivered dictatorship.
The United States have caused a lot of trouble for the people of Nicaragua, lady.
As presidential election, 7 people dared to run for president, and he put them all in jail. Still today, they're either under house arrest or in jail.
I don't believe you.
Every socialist is a dictator in disguise. In Cuba.
Really? Okay. I'm going to let you keep on talking, lady.
After 60 years of living the socialist paradise, the average Cuban, 70% of the Cuban eats only once a day. The average Cuban...
Not true.
Makes $23 a month. That is 40 cents a day.
The inflation's a little bit lower over there, and all that. But anyway.
And the retirees, the seniors, make $12. Cuba in 1960 had the highest per capita income in the hemisphere, and it was comparable to Italy. And we know that.
And Italy is a social democracy that you would denounce as socialism. And they've had socialist and communist parties in coalitions, governments for many, many decades in Italy over the years, lady. But you wouldn't want the Italian model because that's socialism. They have socialized, and they have actually one of the best healthcare systems in the world, by the way, Italy.
That because there is hunger is a very powerful motivator. So today, Cubans by the thousands throw themselves to the sharks in the Straits of Florida looking for freedom and hoping to get to the district that I represent on this floor. And that's just...
And there's a lot of people that are hungry here, too, in this country.
In this hemisphere, in China, 55 million died. In Cambodia, 1 million. In the U.S.
And you know what? Whoa. Cambodia. Okay. The Khmer Rouge government. You know why the Khmer Rouge were gone? You know why the Khmer Rouge was gone? The United States didn't get rid of the Pol Pot. It was Vietnam. It was the Vietnamese communists that got rid of Pol Pot. And it was the Soviets that gave support to the Vietnamese military to make sure that Pol Pot was gone. And what did the United States do? They I forgot the name of the monarch from Cambodia, but they supported him, who seeked an alliance with the Khmer Rouge at the time. So congratulations, lady. You actually ended up supporting the very movement, the worst of the very movement that you claim to hate.
USSR, 10 million froze to death in the gulags. Socialists are in the business of power, and it only takes one generation to believe their false promises and lose our freedom. It is a lie that socialism will solve your problems, economic or social.
If that was the case, tell me why Norway. Tell me why Sweden. Tell me why these countries, Denmark. Tell me why they have the highest standard of living in the world. Tell me why. Tell me why. Because I'll tell you, they have socialism. Yeah, they have a free market capitalist system. But they have a lot of socialist influence in their society. They have a multi-party system, something that you would not want to have here. You would not want to have multiple parties because you would be scared that there will be some kind of a socialist party or some kind of a labor party or even the Green Party in Congress. So you're okay with 2 conservative parties, Republicans and Democrats. And let me tell you this. I mean, your resolution stinks. Fuck you and fuck your resolution. Shove it up where the sun doesn't shine. I'm going to say it that way because if I say it that way, I will not get in trouble. But if I say it the way I want to say it, oh my, somebody could report me because, we know who gets cancel culture around here, and it isn't conservatives. So, okay, if the U.S. Congress wants to criminalize the thought crime of socialism, okay, don't you think that's cancel culture? Because I do. And really, of course, it's not a law, but it's a symbolic message to tell their ideological opponents, whether they think it's the Democrats, those Democrats, and the Democrats are not socialists, by the way, or people outside the Democratic Party. It's basically a way of saying, hey, shut the fuck up. We don't want to hear you. We don't want to hear you. It's the way to intimidate. So what happens if there is a law that will criminalize socialism from taking place? I mean, what would it mean for these Republicans that do it? I mean, considering there's a little blemish on the screen here, considering that it was a bipartisan bill, and fuck every Democrat who voted for this bill, by the way. Now, if there is a Democrat does not like socialism, that voted against the bill because they think it's bullshit and they think that it's authoritarian and they're capitalist, even if there was a Republican who hates socialism and says, hey, this is kind of stupid, and it's kind of totalitarian to denounce an ideology. Even if they hate socialism, if they voted against this out of principle, I would respect them for this. Because, if I was in a national legislature body in this country or any other country around the world, I wouldn't vote for any legislation that will out criminalize an ideology, because I'm a free thinker, I'm a free speech absolutist, and that's what I am. I mean, I'm one of those old-fashioned lefties like that. Yeah, I'm just a traditional old-fashioned lefty. So what happens when this criminalization of socialism take place? Because right-wing radio talk shows host, what's his name, Jesse Kelly, said he would love to see the return of McCarthyism. Well, would it mean ban the Democratic Party? Because the Democratic Party is not socialist. It's center-right. It's conservative. I don't care what people say on the right. They'll be like, "How do you mean it's not? It's center right and conservative?" No, it isn't. Yeah, it's center right. It's to the right of conservative parties in Europe. Okay, it really is. Most conservative parties are cool with socialized medicine or some kind of universal health care in many European countries. Would it mean that they want to ban not just the Democratic Party because they think all Democrats are socialists and evil? Does that mean that even independent social democrats, independent socialists, or communist parties, or does it mean the Green Party, would they all be banned? Well, why bother? You got these ballot access laws that makes it impossible for third parties to either get on the ballot, and they have it so fucking rigged where a third party can't, not just a left-wing party, even a conservative party that's a third party can't make it through the system. And the only choice you got is Dumb and Dumber, Democrats and Republicans. So, third parties are all rigged against they're rigged against across the spectrum. Okay, ban unions. Ban the protest movement. A lot of red states are banning all kinds of protests. They have these anti-protest laws. Ban anything that's even remotely left. Where would you draw the line? And what would the punishment be? A stiff fine? What? Will you have a stiff fine? For the thought crime of being socialist? Whoa! Wait a minute! You support raising the wages to $15 an hour? Well, this group here, we declare raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour socialism. You are going to be fined $10,000 for the thought crime of wanting to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. You damn socialists! Is that where it will go, or would it be like, you think that the people ought to have paid vacation time of 6 weeks a year for every worker, huh? Oh, that's what you think. well, we're going to put the handcuffs on you, and you, I mean, you're going to jail. You're going to jail for 5 years. How dare you think that people ought to get vacation time? Oh my goodness. You supported Bernie Sanders in 2016 and 2020. You supported that socialist pig from Vermont. Oh, really? Well, son, we don't take too kindly to that around here. Get the fuck out of here. You found. We don't take kindly to socialists around here. Get out. Get out. Or they arrest you. You're sent to Guantanamo Bay, and they waterboard you. Take that, socialist. We're going to drown your socialist ass out. Or would it mean a trial, and then you're put on trial, and then sentenced to death, electrocution, firing squad, death penalty, whatever method of death penalty they want to use, lethal injection. How do we do this sort of thing? That's what I want to know, people. This is what I want to know. You see where I'm going? You see how ridiculous this resolution is? And that's what I'm saying. And I mean, and I know, I mean, when I found out about this last night, I was offended. I mean, and I'm sounding like a trigger shitlib in some ways, but this is dangerous. This is dangerous. But even though this is dangerous, I want that Karen in Congress, María Elvira Salazar, to know this. I want you to know this, Congresswoman. I'm a fucking goddamn socialist to the day I die. Get used to it. Marjorie Taylor Greene, saying to you, get used to it. And I'll add on top of that, I'm Antifa. I heard that conversation you and Tucker had on Tucker Carlson. I'm Antifa too. What you gonna do about it? I like to know. What are you gonna do about it? All you Antifa people out there, what are you gonna do about it? I mean, you know, because I know some of these Antifa people want to declare Antifa a terrorist organization. How can you declare an organization that it's not an organization? If you oppose fascism, you could be Antifa. A conservative Republican from World War II who hated Hitler and fought the Nazis because they wanted to fight for freedom and democracy. And look what was going on, what Hitler was doing over there in those camps. Okay, that person is anti-fascist. So there it is. You don't need crimes you don't need bills to criminalize thoughts. There are ideologies that I despise that I would never criminalize, because that's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope that's going to go, and it's going to have repercussions. George Orwell warned us about this kind of thing. You know, you heard the phrase from Donald Trump, "Make America Great Again." Well, here's something about from the book 1984 by George Orwell. Make 1984 fiction again, because this is what's going on. We're in a new age. You know, decade ago, I know what's funny, the little purple and pink hair, little anorexic college kids that everybody was scared of during the Obama years. Oh, social justice warriors, you know. But then you got these fucking rednecks in Congress, you know. I'm tired of these damn socialists and Antifa people. You know, we need to go declare them a terrorist organization. This is the same damn thing. It's the same damn thing. Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with these people? And I had, I'm not going to mention any names, but I had an old friend from college when I told him about cancel culture from the right, conservative cancel culture. And he's like, hey, I don't know many conservatives that are guilty of council culture. I'm like, oh, gosh, don't you remember Brant? Oh, I'm like, good Lord. I'm like, good Lord. I mean, don't you remember? Don't you remember that guy in East Carolina? And look, these people on the far right, not every right-wing person, right-leaning person, not every conservative, but there's a great many conservatives that wrote the book on council culture, has their fingerprints all over it. There was a free speech movement at Berkeley that was kind of a response to this sort of thing. Free speech has always been connected to the left until the last 10, 15 years. And then all of a sudden, and I think I have a theory on that. It was Reagan's moral majority and the new right had been so fucking authoritarian in the 1980s and 1990s, all the way through the Bush chain of years, that some of the liberals, it kind of just like, you know, the Democratic Party got Reaganized. I think that the liberals got a little bit of the authoritarianism from the grassroots Republican activists in the 1980s, 1990s, and during the Bush Cheney years. And but instead of the Bible and the U.S. flag, it was, you know, it was woke language and all of that. This has got to stop, this authoritarianism. And I'm consistent, you know, whenever there's authoritarianism on the left, I will call out on it. Even now, I call out on authoritarianism on the right. And I call out on authoritarianism that's in the center, whether it comes in the guise of George W. Bush or Hillary Clinton or Michael Bloomberg. I call it out. I don't care. I call out any authoritarianism. Because, you know, because I'm better like that. Okay, I have here on the chat line, I got this out of my system, sort of. We have here, hey, Nikki, hey, how are you today? Let's see. It's a fact. It's a failure. I know what you're talking about. Let's see. DJ Elf7, I wonder if Jimmy is here again. Oh, I haven't seen Jimmy here on the chat line. Let's see. Wow, the name of the Koreans, they named the Koreans twice. Yep. Let's see here. So proud. Let's see. Sarcasm. Okay. Let's see here. Right. Let's see here. If you don't have poor and working class in your socialism, you need to ask why. Well, I don't have to ask why. It's America. Unfortunately, there's a lot of poor middle class people and working class people here that have been they're not out of stupidity. Well, most of them not out of stupidity. Some of them willful stupidity. A lot of rich people are stupid too, but they've been sold a song and dance on sound bites. Let's see. Have you heard of the greatest socialist leader, Jackson Hinkle, though? Let's see. AOC does community stuff once in a while, though, but there are grifters up there too. Well, I got my views on AOC too. Let's see. But she's not promoting like Dora doing for Hinkle. Okay. Well, I got my thoughts on AOC. I got my thoughts on Jackson Hinkle. Jimmy Dore's base, though. Let's see. If you had to choose AOC or Caleb Maupin, AOC done some good things in the past. Caleb Maupin done some good things in the past. We'll leave it at that. Let's see. Hi, I want to offer a promotion on your channel, Viewer Fellows Views, chatbots. The price is lower than, oh gosh. Okay. Never mind. Let's see. I don't think this is criminalizing anything. Well, I mean, I don't think it's literally not this particular bill, but it can lead to it. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, Willie is a capitalist sympathizer. You know, actually, I have been called that by some people who don't think I'm pure enough. Let's see. How could you, Willie? Let's see. We're so mad right now. Well, I get very emotional about this sort of thing. Hey, let's see here. All right, let's see what do we got here. I'm sorry. The way this thing bounces on the chat on the little sidebar here. Let's see. Okay, Willie, thanks for streaming. I'm gonna go now. All right, you take care, Nikki. Let's see. Republicans use the word socialism to everything for fear mongering, like it's fascism. Yeah, everything they don't like is socialism. Let's see. Ban books, ban CRT, but right wing claims to the left is the council culture, and that's the truth. Salazar, Ciderin. It's funny because there was a dictator named Salazar in Portugal, Antonio Salazar. Let's see. Hey, Willie. Hi, Willie. Hey, Snipe Hunter. How are you? And everybody. Let's see here. Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Yep. Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who supported the resolution to condemn socialist autocrats. Why doesn't that surprise me? Yep. I have some choice words in my head toward Debbie Wasserman Schultz, but that could get my channel shut down. Let's see. Hey, Willie, the Republicans don't like us. We're the six DSA. We're the six DSA members in Congress. Yeah. I'd like to know. Yes. Let's see here. When reviewing the article, I didn't see any reference to Norway for some reason. Yeah, that's true. And hello from Portugal, Maria Jo. I'm so sorry about. Let's see, Maria Joyo Lagarto. And how are you today? I am thinking about going to Portugal next year for the 50th anniversary of the Carnation Revolution. I'm thinking about it right now. I'm not sure I'm going to do it, but it's crossing my mind right now. So I'm hoping that I will attend the Carnation Revolution and celebrate it and all that, and hopefully, spend a little bit of time in Spain itself, maybe about a week and a half, 2 weeks, in Portugal, Spain, and just kind of enjoy. Yeah. What part of it's a sunny day, I assume in Spain. Portugal. Please come. I'm thinking about it. I really am. So I'm going to be looking into it. So anyway, folks, if you all like what you heard, please press like and comment. If you disagree with what I have to say, comment anyway. We will have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel. And let's see what else I'm going to say. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it because we are the muckrakers of our time. Also, hit that hit the subscribe button here on YouTube. Hit that notification bell. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook. Get a second opinion. Get 22 opinions. Reject corporate media. You know what I have to say all the time. Yada yada yada. And let's see what you. I'm trying to get. Let's see what you follow socialism. I am a socialist. I'm a socialist. So anyway, until next time, folks. I hope to see y'all again, and there'll be more to talk about. If all goes well, you should see me tomorrow night on KRTD, Conversion News Group, where I do my Saturday night feature. So until next time, you all take care. Bye-bye. Good night.